Morning, Ronnie.
Good morning, Chief. How are you?
I'm doing great. Today we're going to go out and visit our motor unit. It's actually a nice, cool morning to be a late August morning. So we're going to take advantage of today, go out, see the guys. So grab your cup of Joe and let's go. Here we are at our North Precinct. Beautiful day out here. Great day to be on a bike. So we're here to visit with our motor unit. So let's go see them. Hey guys, how are y'all doing today?
Hey Chief,
Great, sir. How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. Chief.
Great to see you. So we're here with our motor unit, North Precinct. We're going to take a look at our bikes, talk to our guys, and see what we can find out. First of all, thank y'all for what y'all do. Our motor unit is very integral to the traffic plan here in Forsyth County. They patrol the streets. They have a lot of interesting jobs. And we're going to find out a little more about that today. Let's introduce our motor unit.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Tim Kingsbury.
I'm Deputy Josh Clark. Deputy Tim Taylor.
Let's talk about the bikes a minute.
So these are Harley Davidson. They're the Electra Glide models. Some agencies, they'll have the Road King models, which are just the windshield, but we opted for the full fairing so we can ride it more year round.
Okay.
This will benefit us when it gets a little bit colder, and it's probably one of the more comfortable motorcycles in the industry. I know some agencies, they do have BMWs, but I think those are more prominently used for speed enforcement on faster roadways like 400 or interstates.
Okay, so this is just a stock motorcycle. So,
Correct.
So if I wanted to go to a Harley Davidson dealership and buy this bike, I can buy this same type of bike right off the showroom floor.
We do a different air cleaner and exhaust to help it breathe and help it not run as hot. We put Cobra just exhaust pipes, but like I said, they do help keep the bike cooler, the engine cooler, because there's a lot of times when we're sitting on the side of the road, it just idles. So it does help the airflow keep the bike a little bit cooler.
Okay, that's a great point.
Yep. So our seat comes set up it's a solo seat, and underneath we have it's a suspension style seat where you can change the level of tension on that suspension.
Right.
So the different riders, we're all different weights, so we can change that.
That's right. How do you change it? Is that with an air pump?
Nope, it's with a wrench.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
I know some of the older ones, you had an air pump that you would
Yes,
you'd actually pump the seat up or let the air out of it.
Yeah, and some of the older models, they also had airbag suspension.
Right.
Was what you're referring to. But these, again, with our suspension, you can change the suspension with that too.
Good. Let's talk about how we set the bikes up. I mean, there's so much room in a patrol car to have the different equipment that we need and the different all your stuff in the car. Where do you put it on a bike?
So surprisingly, we fit just about anything a patrol car needs to use for a call for service.
Right.
We actually can fit it on our motorcycle.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's all tight fit. We all are equipped with LiDARs.
Okay.
These are used for speed detection.
Right.
It's a nice cradle for it. We do have a spot for water.
This is very important. I notice all our bikes have these huge water jugs on them. It's very important for our guys to stay hydrated when they're out there on the bikes. As we know, we live in Georgia, so this is it gets hot out here, and they have to take in a lot of water. So I'm glad to see that they've got the extra large jugs and are staying hydrated.
We also are set up, we have a phone holder here. So if we're gonna get a call for service and we don't necessarily know exactly where it is, we can have a GPS pulled up here so we can get that while we're riding. And it's up at eye level to where we don't
Right.
have to keep looking down while we're trying to operate a motorcycle.
Good.
We do keep our rain suits in a saddlebag.
Where's you know, something that I'm not seeing is the radio. I don't see it. You know, I've got a handheld radio in my car. Where's your mic?
Yep.
How do you talk?
So it's all portable. It's all wireless for us.
Okay, so you work off your portable
Yep,
radios.
We work straight off the portable radio. All right, so built into our helmets, which is part of our uniform,
Right.
we have a headset kit. And this will plug right into our portable radio. All right. The intent is on that is we don't have anything on board on the bike where we have to take our hands directly off the handlebars to start talking on the radio. We can
Very
do-
important.
Yes.
Great point.
So we can do everything from that handlebar. So there's going to be a push to talk button here. And as soon as we key up the push to talk, it's keying up our portable radio. So we can talk to
Excellent.
dispatch, we can talk to each other, whatever we need to do. So it's very important safety wise.
So, what year model are these bikes?
So our unit, it ranges from, we have 2019s in our fleet all the way up to 2021s.
Okay, so the early models were the hydraulic clutch, and we've gone to what now?
We've gone to cable clutch.
Cable clutch.
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of learning curve if you've trained and learned on the cable clutch versus the hydraulic clutch. There's a little bit of learning curve going back and forth.
It was much like in the old days in patrol cars when we went from ABS brakes to the old standard brakes that we used to have. There was a little learning curve on how to learn to drive your patrol car back then, or at least how to brake the patrol car.
And just like the patrol cars, we are set up where we do have what we call MCT. It's going to be our computer system.
Okay, so this is just like the computers that we have in the cars. They have that available to them here on the bikes.
Yep. So this bike is equipped with one of our tablets. Few of our bikes have the tablet set up. Some of them have a computer set up just like you would see in a patrol car.
Right.
But every setup, we can get the same calls. We can do the same thing as what's in a car, which include printing whatever we need to print. The printers are on board. Generally, when we make a traffic stop, we're going to be on the right-hand side of the shoulder. Okay. So when we get off the bike, we get off what we call the high side. It's going to be the right side of the motorcycle. So the idea is when we're back here operating our computer for the traffic stop, is where we step off away from the motor in public.
Right.
So it's officer safety when we're over here working, and we can also, keep looking at the violator that we had just pulled over. These are all lit up just like a patrol car. We have all blue lights, mix of white lights in there that breaks up the monotony of the white lights.
Right.
We have the benefit of just about wherever you can put a blue light on these motorcycles, we put a blue light on these motorcycles.
And that's so key, because we want the motoring public to be able to see y'all when y'all are on a traffic stop or when you're on a detail. We want y'all to be very visible.
On top of the blue lights, just like a patrol car, we do have siren capabilities. Our motorcycles have what we call dual sirens, so it has dual tones. If you're familiar with the patrol cars, they have
Yes.
the ability of having dual tones plus maybe rumblers.
Right.
We don't have the ability to have a rumbler on a car.
That is a big piece of equipment that would not fit
It
on
would
the-
not fit. So what we did is we opted for dual speakers, and it is loud.
Good.
So it does give the motoring public warning that we're either pulling them over or we're in emergency pursuit mode where we have to get through an intersection or whatnot.
Great. Of course, you can see, much like we talked about with our Marine unit, my uniform is a little different from theirs. I'm not set up to ride bikes, and they have a special uniform, primarily to keep them safe. And let's find out what you do. Let's start with the cool boots.
So these are our uniform motor boots. They go roughly up to below the knee. They're similar to the equestrian boots for cops that you ever see riding horses,
Yes.
where they still do that. They're for weather. They're all waterproof. Helps with pipe protection because heat. It gets very hot out there. Sometimes you touch a pipe, you don't want to get burned.
Yes.
And this protects it. And we do a ball lace in the front of our boot right here, meaning that the lace meets in the middle It's a good clean look.
Excellent. And your pants are obviously different than mine.
Yes, so these are uniform motor pants, also very similar to some of the equestrian rider pants you might see.
Okay.
They are very flexible, they are built to retain heat, and they're thicker so they can withstand harsher weather than regular uniform pants.
Okay. And then, of course, they're the only unit that we allow in the sheriff's office to wear ball caps. So they get to wear a ball cap when they're off the motor, because we don't want them to have helmet head when they get off the bike. So your uniform, it's really set up for safety. So heaven forbid you come off the bike for some reason, your boots, your pants, things are set up to keep you safe.
Correct, yeah. So higher boots, thicker leather, thicker pants. You know, God forbid you lay the bike down, it's going to help with road rash. It's going to help protect you.
Let's talk about what do you have to do to become a motor officer?
So here you have to serve typically a minimum of 2 years on the road, unless you lateral over from another agency like I did. You then have to put in an application for the unit, be accepted, at which point the unit, if you don't already have it, they will send you to a motor school. I went to Cobb County Motor School.
How long is that school?
That school is 2 weeks. Some places do a
school.
week. Cobb County and some other places do 2 weeks. They break
Yes.
it up into on-road, slow ride and cone courses, and some off-road at the end of the 2 weeks. You will then test. If you pass the test, you get your motor certificate, motor certification, at which point you can go back to your respective agency and become a uniform motor officer. And
Right.
you have to pass the school.
So how tough is that school?
Very hard.
It's very hard.
Very hard.
It's very hard. Tim, what made you want to become a motor officer?
I've always thought it was great. It's a great way for us to meet people, to network. Every time we pull up somewhere, people always want to look at the bikes. So
Yes.
it's a great way for us to get to know the community and just educate people.
Right. That's great. So y'all do a lot of work with our community relations groups when we do things like Touch a Truck and other events where we go out and we interact with the public. Y'all always come out. One of the great things I see, and like you said, is kids coming up and letting them sit on the bike and explaining what the bikes are all about. That's a great job. Y'all do a fantastic job with that. So is that the only reason y'all wanted to become motor cops?
Well, other than it being the best job out here,
It's the best job out here.
I get paid to ride a motorcycle, but it's truly fun. I enjoy coming to work every day. I work with a great group of guys, kind of like an extension of my own family, if you will. So it's not like I'm even coming to work. I'm just coming to hang out. You know, I really enjoy it.
So it's great to ride a bike on days like today. It's very nice out here. It's cool. The humidity's low right now. This is a great morning to be out here. What about those hot days?
It gets pretty stifling on most days, so we are afforded to take a few more extra breaks throughout the day. Like we talked about earlier, we've got our water on here. We do have rain gear, but we are, here at our agency, we're well taken care of. So we have the option to ride in our patrol car if we deem it unsafe.
If the weather's really bad, we're just not talking about sprinkles, but if it's a good thunderstorm like we've had recently, y'all have the availability to check out a patrol car, get in a patrol car, and continue doing your job. So just because there's inclement weather, just because there's bad weather, these guys don't get to sit in the precinct, sit at home. They jump in a patrol car, continue to do their duty, continue with the mission of traffic enforcement here in the county. Something y'all didn't talk about, and something I think y'all should talk about, is your motor wings. The motor wings on the uniform, personally, I think is one of the coolest insignias that any of our deputies get to wear. So talk about those a little bit. What's the history behind those?
So the motor wings represent passing motor school. Like he said, the motor school is 80 hours of, it's stressful, hard on your body. It's probably one of the hardest classes that you'll take in law enforcement.
Yes.
So when you get out of motor school and you've graduated motor school, this is almost like a symbol of what you accomplished.
Absolutely.
So, and it's uniform across all agencies.
Yes.
So I can go to any agency, I can walk up, even if I'm not in my motor uniform, I'm always wearing my motor wings, and you can always pick out who's gone through that course. And
So now that you say that, I do notice your motor wings don't say Forsyth County on them.
No,
This is state of Georgia.
state of Georgia.
So other agencies wear the same or similar wings.
So they'll all adopt some sort of motor wings. Some will just have one wing off the side. Some will have a smaller wing. Whatever it is, but we all know it's a motor wing.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. So is there a kinship or a brotherhood amongst motor officers?
It's hands down night and day difference when you go to a motor event. So we'll do what we call rodeos, which is
Right.
almost like test your skills, and you compete against other agencies.
Yes.
So when we go out there, we're competing against other motor officers. However, before the competition, everyone's out there is helping you.
Right.
Because I can learn something from riding with Tim. I can learn something from riding with Josh, but I've never seen these other guys ride before.
Right.
And they can add something else to the table. Hey, listen, look for this when you're riding. And it's something I've never seen before, and it might click. But it's a huge kinship. So
When the public sees y'all out there, what can they do? How can they interact with y'all?
Just wave at us.
Wave us. Okay. Okay.
Or if you're real ambitious, you could commit a traffic violation, and we can meet you that way.
Okay.
But
Well, let's try not to do that.
But typically, if we're sitting in traffic, people will wave at us. They'll roll the rear windows down, and their kids will be in the back seat with them.
That's great.
And they'll wave. So we'll obviously wave back and interact with them. And
Yes.
sometimes they'll even ask if they could look at the bike, and we're like, yeah, sure, pull over here.
Right. That's great.
so-
And I appreciate y'all being those ambassadors for the sheriff's office and getting out there in the public. So when you stop a car, let's say somebody does commit a violation and you pull them over, walk us through what a typical traffic stop is like for y'all.
So when we typically when you pull somebody over, you want to give your radio traffic, get your bike moving. Once dispatch acknowledges you, you turn on your blue lights. Once they stop, all your blues are on. You advise your dispatcher of your final stop. You always want to make sure your kickstand's down before you lean the bike. Make sure your fairing is tilted all the way to the left. We always get off on the high side and get on the high side.
Okay.
Typically, if you're doing a stop anywhere with heavy traffic, like he was saying before, it's going to be on your left side. So you want to do a passenger side approach or a right side approach. Then just make contact with the driver, introduce yourself, make sure you're minding your safety and all that stuff.
What's the normal reaction? What do people?
The normal reaction is, I had no idea. I blew that stop sign, or I was going so fast.
Right.
Yes, I was on my phone, or I had to get home to use the restroom after they've already passed every gas station.
Is that
in
a
the
common
county.
excuse?
It's probably the most common.
Have to
Probably
use the restroom.
probably the most
So
common.
you hear that. So please, like your mama said, go potty before you get in your car and go on a long trip.
we know when you're using an excuse. We've been doing
Yeah.
it long enough. We know when it's an excuse and when there's an actual, exigent circumstance or emergency.
Absolutely. Tell me an advantage. What's the advantage of riding a motor versus patrolling in a car?
Easier maneuverability.
Easier maneuverability.
Whether that's on a roadway or school zones. A lot of places, like school zones, you can't park a patrol car there without obstructing traffic.
Right.
Motorcycles are very small, so you can, park in a gore with your emergency equipment. You can even park up on the sidewalk and run your speed, look at traffic. Just a lot of advantages that a car doesn't offer.
When you patrol in neighborhoods, which is something that I really like to see, is when y'all get in the neighborhoods and you just ride up and down the streets. What kind of reaction do you get from the citizens and the public?
Usually people come out and say hi, want to shake our hands, take pictures of the bikes. A lot of times the kids are playing, so you'll do some tight turns for them and,
Awesome.
rev the motor. The kids love it. And then obviously if it's one of our traffic complaint areas or extra patrol requests, the residents are usually pretty thankful.
Great. So let's talk about the fleet for a minute. Right here, we've got 3 of our units out for us to look at. They've got them out here shined up and ready to go. But we have a total of 6 motors here at the sheriff's office. Right now, we do have some openings on our motor unit. We had some recent promotions, so congratulations on the guys that were promoted and moved on to other assignments. But we have these bikes. We have 3 others, and you'll see them out on the road. All right, Sarge, let's talk about the helmets that y'all wear.
So our helmets, we've opted for the half shell helmet.
Okay.
In law enforcement, there's, just like you can in consumer bikes, there's different size helmets. You can do half shell, you can do 3/4, and you can even do full face helmets.
Why would we not want to do a full face helmet? They seem safer.
They are They are a lot safer. I'll give you that. However, with all the elements that we ride in, we're on the bike probably 8 hours a day, where a consumer's probably on the bike for maybe a couple hours. Full face helmet, there's hardly any way to breathe. It's hot.
Right.
It's miserable wearing a full face helmet.
Plus, we don't want to cover our face because we want the public to know who we are and that we're out there to help them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Our helmets here, we all have our names on the back, which I'm borrowing Master Deputy Tim Taylor's helmet. This way, if we're riding behind each other, I can't necessarily see your face, but I know who you are just by looking at the back of the helmet.
Right.
We do honor a fallen motorcycle deputy of Forsyth County, David Land. His radio number was 740. He unfortunately passed away in 2003 on a motorcycle. He was responding emergency on Buford Highway, and a car had pulled out in front of him, failed to yield, and unfortunately passed away on scene. But
well, I think that's wonderful that y'all do that. I'll put that on your helmets as an honor to him, to Sergeant Land, and I think it reminds you too of how dangerous this job is. Our deputies get in wrecks all the time. We bang up patrol cars. People run into us. We run into people from time to time by accident, of course. And sometimes during a pit maneuver, we'll run into people on purpose in our vehicles, in our patrol cars. You can't do that on a motorcycle. They don't have the protection of the car doors and the hoods and the trunks to protect them. They're sitting on top of these things, so it is a very dangerous job. And I appreciate that y'all keep the memory of Sergeant Land in the forefront and on your helmets every day. That was a great visit we had with our motor unit. I enjoyed coming out, learning about the bikes, learning about the uniforms, and again, meeting our motor unit, our guys that ride out there every day. And always remember, stay safe, Forsyth.